All right. Interesting piece in The Intercept that could shed new light on the close relationship that has developed between Saudi Arabia's crown prince and Jared Kushner. What does The Intercept have? Well, they're reporting that the crown prince is boasting to the Emirati crown prince and others that Kushner was, quote, in his pocket. Joining us now is one of the authors of this report, The Intercept's D.C. bureau chief, Ryan Grim. Ryan, thank you for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
So the prince is saying, I have Kushner in my pocket because...
Yeah, his evidence is that, when I met with him in late October of this year, he brought me the names of political dissidents within the royal family and other elites in Saudi society that U.S. intelligence had collected and determined were kind of skeptical of the crown prince's rapid rise. A week later is when this famous kind of Ritz Royal Roundup happened, where they turned the Ritz-Carlton Riyadh into a prison for his cousins and his other people close to him. And so he said, look, Jared Kushner aided me in this crackdown. And what we've independently confirmed is that there was indeed an intelligence report that had a list of names of Saudi royals who were skeptical of Mohammed bin Salman,
right, and
that Kushner was in those briefings, and that he has shown a particular interest in intelligence briefings around the Middle East. What precisely happened in these meetings between Kushner and Mohammed bin Salman that went till 4 a.m., we know. We don't know precisely, but we do know that that's what happened on both sides of it.
So you've got some circumstantial evidence, and then you're going to have a question of correlation versus causation. And that is articulated here as, so if these names were provided and Kushner knew them, do you know that he told the prince about those names? And even if he did, was it acceptable for him to do so under some type of condition of their agreement? Anything on those?
Right. So there would be two levels of that. If Kushner had the permission of the foreign policy apparatus or the president or both, then he would be completely within his legal right to share those, and it would be an expression of kind of a covert U.S. foreign policy to help Mohammed bin Salman solidify power and crack down on corruption in his country. That would be a remarkable development. It would be, U.S. interference in Saudi Arabia's internal politics. If, however, he was doing it on his own because he thought it was a good idea, then it does implicate some handling of classified information laws.
Now, is there another potential level to this of Qatar and Saudi Arabia and ongoing matters there, including with Kushner, where his father may have been working Qatar to get money for one of their properties, and how that works with this? Is there any connection to those in your reporting?
Well, all of Kushner's activities in the Gulf are seen by a lot of observers through this light, because we know that, well, Jared Kushner remains a major partner in Kushner Companies,
sure,
a real estate firm that is, they're deeply underwater on their 666 Fifth Avenue property. This is kind of Jared Kushner's kind of touchstone purchase back in 2007. And if that goes down, it could bring the entire Kushner Companies with it. We know from previous reporting that Charles Kushner, in April of 2017, directly pitched the Qatar government for money to bail out this project. Qatar said no, and just weeks later, Kushner took the Saudi side in a diplomatic dispute when Saudi and the UAE blockaded Qatar. And so then several months later, you have this continuing pro-Saudi effort on behalf of Kushner. So it absolutely does raise questions of whether this was part of U.S. foreign policy or whether it was part of the global expedition to acquire refinancing funds for this underwater property.
Now, his lawyers say they're not even going to dignify these questions, so they didn't answer them. You have more digging to do on this, so do the rest of us. Appreciate you giving us a couple of pieces to the puzzle here, Ryan. But if nothing else, we're once again dealing with a manifestation of the problems created by apparent conflicts of interest. And that's something new in our government, to have people who are so prominent on the business side and have those affairs now whether intentionally or unintentionally, leak in to their public work as well. Ryan Grimm, thank you very much for bringing us what you have. Appreciate it.
Thanks.